What's up? It is week 7, and we are here to break down week 7 for DraftKings DFS. We got Tim already on, and Gerson hopefully will be joining us shortly, so hang tight.
Going for 2, kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for 2, sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this, multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past any and all, I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking. So what are we talking? What kind of alignment? And running it deep, even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that top end. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping. And woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo!
What's up, and welcome to episode 438 of the Armchair Fantasy Show. I am your host, of course, Geoff Lambert. You can follow me on Twitter at JeoffLambert77. I said Gerson might be a little bit late, and look at that. There he is on the screen right after the intro music. What's up, G?
What up? What up? Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you loud and clear, man.
Okay, so
Awesome.
sorry,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I had to use the bathroom, and I didn't want to piss my pants.
Enough. All right. Also joining us, of course, Tim, man. What's up?
I'm good. I was just telling you in the pre-show, man. I don't remember a Friday where we had so much injury news as we did today. So I feel like, as usual, we are ahead of the curve with this show.
Agreed. And Joe's in the chat. Week 7 already. Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's hard to believe
Right.
it. Already week 7. Like we just started this show last week. All right. Well, as always, guys, we're here every Friday night at 10:30. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Really helps us out. And of course, we're also syndicated in all major podcast networks. We're going to go ahead and jump right into the rewind.
The Weekly Rewind. Rewind.
All right. Of course, Gerson wasn't able to make the show last week, unfortunately, because his picks 2 weeks ago were pretty much goated. But Gerson, how'd you do last week? What you got? Your one good, one bad? He got his goat shirt on.
Yeah, I'm in goat mode right now. Tom Brady. Well, last week my one good was Rico Dowdle, I guess. I mean, I said he would. I don't know if you guys announced it.
We
watched
did.
We did.
Okay. Yeah, he was my lock of the week, and then
Yeah.
my stack was also good too. So it paid off. I was kind of sketchy because you guys know I'm not really a big fan of stacking running backs on the comeback, but I was just like, damn, that's just too dang good. And the worst part is, you guys know I hate revenge games, so yeah.
Ah,
If there was one at that, my one bad, unfortunately, it was Hunter Long. I mean, he was 2,500.
Yeah.
If you had him, that wasn't the reason your roster tanked. So I hate when people say that. Oh, 2.5K, he got like 3 points. Oh, if I would have, you would have constructed a better roster with that salary that you saved, dude.
Exactly.
I'm making excuses.
For
But
sure.
that was my one bad. And the worst part is, I actually had 35% exposure to Hunter Long.
Wow.
Because, yeah, I thought Trevor Lawrence was going to get pressured, and then they were just going to do a little dump off passes. No, didn't work.
Yeah, Jeff and I in the pre-show were talking about last week the difference between cashing and not cashing was if you played Hunter Long or Michael Mayer.
Yep.
And it's crazy because it almost never comes down to something like that. But
Yeah,
that
but
was
Michael
the
Mayer
difference
was
in
more
cash.
than 2,500, right? Michael
He
Mayer
was 31, yeah, but it was
Yeah,
like
31.
basically if you paid down, you had to pick one
Oh,
of
yeah.
those two, and
Hands down.
he killed it. So yeah, my one good last week was Josh Jacobs. I had him everywhere. Packers coming off a bye against the Bengals. It was not a hard spot, but he was still under-owned, I think, last week. Unfortunately, I had him paired up with a lot of Javonte Williams. So obviously he did not do good against the Panthers last week. And stay tuned for the running back segment because I'm making a call this week. You all will want to hear.
Love it. My one good for the second week in a row was JSN. Of course, I was all in on JSN. I made him my lock of the week. He balled out once again. My one bad, though, was switching out JSN out of my cash lineup on Sunday morning to put Puka in because the weather wasn't going to be as bad as we thought it was. I took Puka out. Thought it was going to be windy and rainy. Turned out it wasn't windy and rainy. Oh, I'll put Puka back in, take JSN out, and that's almost cost me cashing. I still cashed, but I just barely made cash. I'd have been much more comfortable if I had played JSN over Puka.
For sure.
All right, let's get to the quarterbacks.
Let's talk quarterbacks.
All right, Tim, kick us off here on the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I just like that me and Gerson have almost exactly the same quarterbacks this week. It is a 10-game slate, obviously a lot more convinced. If I got first pick, I'm going right to the top with Jaden Daniels. He is the first quarterback I looked at the week. There's the number one matchup against Dallas. They are last in the league against quarterbacks. I think they give out 7.6 above league average to quarterbacks. So if he's averaging 20 points, like I'm not saying you can lock in at 27, but it certainly feels like it this week. I'll be all over the Jaden. I'll talk about it when we get to wide receiver. I'm not worried about Terry being out. Every quarterback that has played Dallas has gone off, including Bryce Young last week. So quarterback with the talent of Jaden Daniels, it's a no question, lock it in. He'd be my cash game quarterback. And, he's going to be 20, 25%, just like Fields was in tournaments, if not higher. But I don't see how you get away from him.
Yeah, agreed. At that point, at that price point too, it's not too bad. 6.9 is not that hard to fit in against Dallas's defense. What about you, Gerson? What do you got for one of your top plays at quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I think I do this every week. I told you guys I'm going to see who's playing the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to play against them. And if you haven't picked it up by now, week 7, I don't know what to tell you. I'm playing Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, the thing that really shocked me about this, his ownership, he's actually like not even in the top 5.
Yeah.
I think he's like number 8 or something like that. I don't know what number he's at right now, but he's like at 6%. And if I'm going to
feel
get
like that's
Dak
got to
Prescott,
come up, right?
it has to. I mean, a 55-point total, like you would think, I mean, he would be shocked,
Yeah.
But then I started looking more further into it. It's not cheap. And it's hard to find value because George Pickens cost a little bit. CeeDee Lamb cost a lot. Jake Ferguson's 5.5K. Javonte Williams, you would run it with him, mid-tier price. So you're paying about probably 40% of your roster right there,
Sure.
in that stack. I mean, that's not bad, but still, it's quite expensive. But I think if this game goes over, then you can find there is some value on the other side that we'll talk about later. But I think I'm going to find a way to get creative and stack this game. I'm probably going to be heavily exposed on him too. I love Jaden Daniel though, but this game's going to be fun to watch. And they kind of announced that Terry McLaurin was out. So they didn't kind of. They did announce, but we'll see.
That hurt it a little bit. But
yeah, it's just the matchup, the game environment, and the total. I mean, you go look at it. It has everything it has for a shootout.
The perfect storm for sure.
And the perfect defense, right? The Dallas Cowboys
exactly.
defense.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. I figured you two would go with those guys there. I'm going to go with I'm going to take Drake May here. And I finally
shout out to Keith last week for being all over that Drake May call.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like Drake.
And for the first time in 10 years, I've created a revenge narrative drop that I'm going to hit right now because of the Mike Vrabel coaching going back to Tennessee. Here comes the revenge narrative drop just for Gerson.
Don't you flex on me. I do not get no sleep. I'm barely up. Hope you ante up. Word to MOP. You don't know me. I need my revenge. It ain't no more peace. I'm rolling deep enough to turn your block up in the World War III. I roll up on them white sleep.
A little bit of Joyner Lucas for y'all. Revenge is the name of the song there. Obviously Vrabel's going back to Tennessee, who fired him, got the revenge narrative. So I will be playing some Patriots for that reason. Drake May 6.3. Tennessee's defense we know is not good, and Drake May has been awesome so far this year. I mean, with his legs as well, not just his arm, but he's also running the ball, getting his rushing touchdowns. So 6.3. I think he's a good alternative to some of those top guys. There's one more guy we hadn't talked about yet. Tim, why don't you talk about Herbert a little bit?
Yeah, the Air Bear. I feel like I've been playing Justin Herbert every week, and he's been letting me down. But I really like it this week because Indianapolis is a bit of a pass funnel, quite a pass funnel, actually. I was really hoping he'd get Joe Alt back. It looks like he's not going to play, unfortunately. But I expect them to have to be down in passing in this game. Like, I don't see this as a game they're going to win with Kamani Vidal. Like, I know he's a popular play, and he'll probably do okay, but they're going to win this game if they do off the arm of Justin Herbert. So I'm going to go back to the well, but I will say that I will be most exposed to Dak and Jaden by a good bit.
Agreed. And I'll just mention the one guy that I had left on there, Patty Mahomes, seems to be back. With 30 plus points. He gets his main weapon back this week in Rashee Rice. Should be a good matchup there with Vegas at 7,000. Let's go down into the value tier here, Gerson. Give me your value quarterback you got there.
This game is just the pace. I'm looking at the pace mostly. Both of these teams do a lot of, they have a high pace team. Caleb Williams has gotten multiple touchdown game. Has counted for multiple touchdown game, 18 fantasy points, 4 of his first 5 games. So if you want to ask if Ben Johnson makes a difference, he does. And not only is he getting it done on the passing game, he's getting it done on the ground too. I mean, he has rushing yards. I mean, he has rushing equity on his rushing upside. Rushing upside. I mean, that's what we want, right? We want rushing upside in our quarterback. Same thing. I mean, Drake May just tore apart the Saints last week.
They did.
I mean, and they have very similar game. I don't know if I mean, it's close, but I still want to believe that Caleb is better. He just needs to put it all together. But Drake's doing it phenomenal. But the other thing I'm looking at is that they run the 5th highest cover 3, and he averages 7.06 yards per attempt on that. So if he has if he has 25 dropbacks, I mean, you do the math, that's at least 250 yards right off the bat. And then he gets multiple touchdowns. I mean, yeah. And I also like the price. That's the best thing. His price is 5.8K. And you can run it back in that game with, a couple. I mean, it's pretty condensed on who's on the other side. Rashid Shaheed, Juwan Johnson, Chris Olave. Olave is going to be way popular this week. So it's almost a perfect pick. But I think it's just the value. Again, those other calls. I will hold on. Let me say this. Let me put some clarity in the quarterback position. This week will be decided by your quarterback, because all the quarterbacks we just mentioned, the top tier quarterback that you're paying up for have 30-point upside.
Yep,
correct.
The value quarterback, they also have like 25 to 20-point upside, and they can touch that 30 range. So you either find a way to get cheap and then build, studs and dud, or you go pay up for those studs at quarterback, and you have a floor in your lineup.
Yeah, I like it. I did have one note on Caleb as well, just to add to it, because I had him in my list as well. And the Saints are actually ranked 9th versus the run DVOA, but 28th versus the pass. So obviously, Saints can stop the run a little bit. They're going to pass more. So Caleb Williams is a pretty good play there. Tim, what do you got for one of your values?
Yeah, Gerson just hit on almost exactly what I was going to say. That if you're paying down at quarterback this week, you better be paying down for a guy who can get you 29 plus points, because that's where you're going to be living this week. So this quarterback, since week 8 of last year, has had 4 games of 29 DraftKings points or more. All 4 have come at home, and that's Bo Nix, who gets a matchup this week against the New York Giants. There is a little bit of a narrative on this. They will be celebrating the Super Bowl 50 championship team and putting Demaryius Thomas into their Ring of Honor. So I expect that they are going to just put their foot to the New York Giants. 30 plus points for the Broncos. I'm going to want a ton. I'm going to be way overexposed to the Broncos this week, both in the pass game and in the run game.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the two quarterbacks I had as well in my value tier, so I won't add to anything that y'all already talked about. We'll go ahead and just jump right into the tight ends.
Did somebody say tight ends?
I'll kick us off here at tight end, and I'm going to go with my boy Fannin versus Miami at 3.9. The Dolphins are second worst DVOA versus tight ends, and with Njoku out, Fannin's going to get all of those targets. I haven't looked at the stats for the last two games, but I know in that first game, I think tight ends got 45% of the targets for Dylan Gabriel. And I know last week wasn't a terrible difference. He's going to get all the targets now. Njoku's not there. 3.9. I love Fannin this week, and I think he's going to be a target monster against this weak Miami defense. Let's see. Gerson, we'll go to you next.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Brock Bowers not playing and play Michael Mayer. I mean, we saw it last week. He got, I think it was 5 catches for 51 yards or 50 yards and touchdown.
A touchdown.
And he had 7 targets. That was the biggest thing. I mean, that's 30% of the target, 30% target, and a 92% snap share. I mean, 16 points. That's quite a bit for a value white tight end that week. And it made the difference like we talked about. But this week, Kansas City deploys its third highest rate at 2 high safeties at 59%. So the underneath route will be open for him. We saw Sam Laporta have a good game against them last Sunday Night Football. Yep. He had, I think, a touchdown and like 50 yards and was it 7 catches? I don't know, but it was like 7 catches or something. So he had a pretty good game. I believe the Raiders are going to be playing from way behind, not from behind, from way behind. Mahomes back, and he's going to control the game environment, and the Raiders are going to have to, man. Oh, I will say this. There was a funny joke that Xander, Jason's kid, he used to come on the show, he said, and he's like, who's the Raiders quarterback? I'm like, Gino. Wow. Gino nothing about football. Because I'm like, oh my goodness. Talk about an all-time like dad joke, but with a little kid. Joke. But yeah, I was like, my goodness. But he's so funny. But no, give me Michael Mayer at his price range. Again, it's a value play, and he's probably going to.
And it's probably the last week, right? Because the Raiders are on bye next week, and then Bowers is probably back. So he's going to get it.
Bowers will come back, and I can't wait to see Bowers at like 5.5K or 5.1 or something like that, because I'm going to smash him in because
go ahead and make a note for week 9.
The injury he had, it was because he has to heal up, and the doctor told him you got to rest him.
Correct.
All right, Tim, what you got for one of your favorite plays here?
This is a guy I've been playing a lot of all year, and I'm going to go right back to him in this spot. That's Tyler Warren. The stat I had on him this week is that Warren has a 36% target share against cover 4, which the Chargers run at a top 3 rate in the league. So it's a really good schematic matchup. He also is 4th best in yards per route run among all receivers versus that shell. So I do expect them to have to throw at least a little bit. I do think we'll talk about Jonathan Taylor here in a minute. He will have a good game. But I think that they're going to have to throw in this game. Josh Downs is out, which means Tyler Warren will be essentially their slot receiver. He was already running, I think, about 40 to 45% of his routes out of the slot. I expect that to be probably higher to 60% this week. So he will be a full-time player. So, I 5,200. I just think that he's still right in that range where I want to pay. And I think he's going to be lower owned this week because the other guy's going to be more popular. I think you're about to talk about, Geoff.
Yeah, so McBride versus Green Bay, 5.7. Obviously, he's had some monster games there. I know, Tim, you were a little worried that Kyler Murray might come back and kill his value. I haven't heard definitive yet if Murray is back.
Guys. Battlefield 6 came out last week. He's fine. He'll come back.
Fine. He'll be fine. But McBride gets a monster share of the targets. No matter which quarterback is in there. At 5.7, I think Green Bay has given up the second. They're tied for the second most top 12 given up. So I think
They are the flow chart team for sure.
for sure. So yeah, 5.7. I will say there's not the super value this week that you can get the expensive tight end in there, but if you can find a way to fit him in, he's the one you want to pay up for.
Yep.
All right, let's go down into the value tier here, Tim. Give me one of your values.
Yeah, I will say real quick before we move on, I did have Dallas Goedert. He's basically been the only Eagle that you can roster the last few weeks, and Jalen Hurts is number one red zone target. So I think at 4,500, he will probably go overlooked, with most people paying all the way down to like your boy Fannin or up to your boy McBreezy. So
Yeah.
I think Goddard will get skipped over this week.
Good point. Good point. You want to talk about Zach Ertz a little bit in that game?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like whenever Terry McLaurin's out, like he's the number two option. And there's also a bit of narrative that he seems to always own the Cowboys. So we talked about cover two. Tight ends tend to excel against cover two. I think I had my note on Zach Ertz is that he sees triple yards per route run against zone versus man. So he is the zone killer. Cowboys play zone on 85% of snaps. So with McLaurin out, he'll be the number two option, I think, in the pass game. And at 3,800, that's just too damn cheap. So he was questionable, but I think that was more of a vet rest day. All indications are he's good to go for Sunday.
Yeah, I think he's the number two option overall, but the number one option in the red zone for Jay.
In the red zone, yeah, for sure.
Good stuff. Gerson, you got a former sick call right there, Armchair Gadsden, who had kind of a breakout.
Yeah.
Talk about him a little bit.
Did he hit when you picked him?
He did not.
No, of course not.
I'm always too early.
You're 1 week too late again. Good job. Armchair Gadsden. You know what's funny? Like I feel like this guy is just like he's really talented, but when you watch him play football, it's like just break out. Like give him the ball, But he got the ball. I mean, he had a career high reception, 7, 68 yards, 8 targets. I mean, 12 fantasy points. I mean, it's almost 13. So, I mean, you take what you want, take what you can get at the tight end position. I don't think have they announced if Quentin Johnston's going to play?
Yeah, he's going to play.
He's going to play?
He's off the injury report, yep.
Okay, double checking. But yeah, Will Dissly and Tucker Fish, and Conklin, all their their snap shares are starting to go down. It looks like they're going to pivot towards him. It's mostly the price range for him, 3.3K, and also the game. I think this game can be it's probably the contrarian game, right? Indiana, Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, the Chargers are going to have to keep up with I can't believe we're saying that, right? You're going to have to keep up with the Indianapolis Colts,
For sure.
But that's the world we live in now. Daniel Jones is still a top 5 quarterback. And Baker Mayfield is also a top 5 quarterback. So you see that, Jared?
And
Sam
Darnold's numbers have him as a top 5 quarterback. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy,
Sam
right?
Darnold.
Insane.
But yeah, I mean, I think Armchair Gadsden is going to be just a cheap guy, but I think everybody's it's a good pivot from Michael Mayer.
Yeah.
Yep. Or the other guy I was going to say, which is Mason Taylor.
Yeah.
Which I think will be super popular.
Agreed.
Because the Jets have nobody to throw the ball to.
Yeah.
So
Garrett Wilson, I have the Panthers is dead last in DVOA versus the tight end. And they are also giving up a ton of top 12 games to tight ends. So, yeah. And I think people actually might be afraid to click his name because of what he did last week to you. He only had one target. So, but
matchup.
DFS is all about weak matchups, and I think this is the one you want to exploit here. So go Mason Taylor for sure.
Agreed.
All right, let's get to the running backs.
It's time for running backs. Running backs.
All right, Gerson, I'm going to go to you because you have a guy on your list twice. So I figured you want to really talk about that guy. So talk about Taylor a little bit.
Oh, my bad. I meant to put someone else, but
that's all right.
Yeah, it was supposed to be. Who did I have there? Oh, I think it was Breece Hall. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, Jonathan Taylor. I mean, if there's anybody that beside Puka Nacua until he got hurt deserves an MVP award, it's definitely him, right? Yeah. I mean, Taylor's carrying legitimate legitimately
Yeah, he
carrying the Colt on his back. I mean, he's getting. I think we talked about it like a couple weeks ago when he was underpriced that we were going to see him at $9K pretty soon.
Yep.
And
this is the last week. I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor, I mean, 23.7 fantasy points in last week versus the Cardinals. I mean, it's just he leads the league in attempt too, 115.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we want. We want volume and we want rushing touchdown. Well, he leads the league in attempt, rushing yards, and rushing touchdown. He's third in yards after contact at 3.24. He forces the most most tackles. I mean, I don't know what to say about this guy besides all that. But now it's a matchup against the Chargers. The Chargers are in the mid-range. You know, they're not like great, but they're also you can still just run on them. They allow the third most adjusted yards against running back and the 16th most yards against the rushing against the running back. So, but I think there's very few running backs that are matchup proof, and I think Jonathan Taylor is definitely one. And there's not a lot of credit given to the line too. Their line is phenomenal. Absolutely. I mean, they have probably, I don't know, one of the best guards I've seen in the last 10 years in Quentin Nelson. He's also the nicest one too. If you ever look at videos of him, but no, I got Taylor in this game. It's going to be a high-scoring game, and I expect Taylor to be really involved. I expect like an all-scrimmage game, kind of like what we saw from B. John Robinson on Monday Night Football. You know, shout out to B. John, you're my boy. But no, I mean, 8,800. It might look daunting at first, but I guarantee you, when you see 30 points on Sunday, you're gonna be like, I knew that was the guy to pay up for. I mean,
I think you can get there too.
Yeah.
All right, Tim, we'll go to you next.
Lock it in.
So I actually told you in the pre-show I had another guy here because I thought for sure this guy would be number one in terms of running back ownership. And then I looked on Roto-Grinders earlier and he was fifth. And that's Quinshon Judkins. This is the flowchart play this week. Gerson said on Tuesday this guy was a lock. So I got to agree with that. You play running backs against Miami. I said it from basically week one in our pre-week one show that you play running backs against Miami. We've done it every week since. Last week he got game scripted out. That's not going to be an issue here. It's the best spot. It's the flow chart play, and he's only 6,000. To me, it's a no question. Set it and forget it. So, yeah, I don't know how you get away from him. I think Cleveland defense is so good that there's really no chance that he can get game scripted out. It's possible, but I'm going to take that chance every time. They're giving up like 5 yards per carry, and his game script he should get. I mean, I think this was probably the craziest thing I saw is that his rushing prop was higher than Jonathan Taylor's. Jonathan Taylor was at 90 yards, and I think Judkins was at 95.
Wow.
What's crazy about that, his rushing prop actually started at the beginning of the week started at
like 82. Yeah. It just keeps climbing.
One thing I want to add to that. So when we say game environment, we also mean weather. That game is going to be the most important game for weather. Whether, no pun intended, whether you look at defense or you look at running back. Those are the two positions that are probably going to be the most affected by it. Besides, you're not going to play your wide receivers. Me, myself, I say this about weather. I never let it implicate what I'm going to do unless it's the wind. I don't care about the snow and I don't care about the rain. But once that wind starts picking up at 20 to 30 miles per hour, and right now I heard a rumor that it was going to be 40 miles per hour. I'm like, okay, so are the running backs are they always going to say, all right, we defer this way, whatever way the wind's blowing,
100%.
But that game definitely matters. And trust me, they're not going to want to say, oh, Dylan Gabriel, carry us.
Yes. No, I was going to say, stack him with the Cleveland Browns defense, because if there was ever a Tua turn the ball over game, this is going to be it.
Yep. Let's see. I'll go next here, and I'll go back to that Washington Dallas game, and I'll take the one guy that's not one of the top owned. He's still pretty high owned, but he's not as high as Javante. But I'll take Bill, as he's known, Jakrosky Merritt, 6.1 at Dallas. We already talked about how bad Dallas's defense is, and I know this is going to be a high scoring game. There will be a lot of passing involved, but I do think he can still get into the end zone. The Commanders still want to run the ball quite often, keep that the ball out of Dak's hands. So they're going to use Bill quite a bit. And at 6.1, that price point is pretty juicy for a game that should be the highest scoring game on the slate. So I'll take Bill here.
He's the only guy I'm kind of worried could get game scripted out because they don't really use him on third down.
Yeah,
so
he's not really a passing back. You're right.
The McNichols Bowl, yeah.
Yep.
That's the only one. But if they can keep it close, dude, he should absolutely smash.
Tim, why don't you talk about the other guy on the other side of that game?
Yeah, I mentioned my one bad last week was Javante. You'd think I'd avoid him, but I'm going right back to him. We saw, was it Monday night, DeAndre Swift had a comeback against this same Commanders defense. They started off good against the run, but the last few weeks they have been terrible, giving up well over 100 yards from scrimmage to running backs. So I think this could be a huge Javante bounce back game. He's still priced about the same at 6,700. He's going to be popular, right? But I think there's going to be most of, in cash, my current plan is to go Judkins, Bill, and Javante, right? And if I can find a way to get up to JT, I will. But I just have too much projected volume between those three guys at 6K prices that I feel like there's going to be a couple wide receivers we want to pay up for. Obviously, we're paying up for Jaden or Dak. So I'm going to be in that 6K range this week. There's one guy I like we're going to talk about here below, but that's mostly where I'm living this week.
I love it. Gerson, you got Josh Jacobs there. Talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Jacobs, this is some crazy stuff. He scored rushing touchdowns two rushing touchdowns, two games in a row. He has gotten 4 receptions or more ever since Jaden Reed got hurt and 44 yards or more. But he have actually scored 14 touchdowns in the last 16 games if you include the playoff. 21 total touchdowns, total rushing touchdown in that span. But it's crazy to see a guy get that kind of volume. Just touchdowns are king for him, and that's the thing. I don't know what it is with what's their name, Jordan Love, but I guess he struggled in the red zone because eventually they're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna trust Josh Jacobs, and that's what they've been doing, and that's how they've been winning. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, he got 21 for 123 and a touchdown and 4 for 14 and against them last week against the Cardinals. I think Jacob can do something similar, and the price is 1,000 cheaper. So if you want to pivot, I think he would be a great pivot from Jonathan Taylor against the Cardinals. They haven't announced if Kyler Murray is playing, and if Kyler Murray is out, that game's going to be a blowout by the Green Bay Packers. I think the Cardinals last week, I don't know, it was just a weird game for them, and they actually competed. I don't think they're going to compete very well against the Green Bay Packers. Am I wrong? Is this game in Green Bay?
No, it's in Arizona, I think.
Oh, well, it's even better for them. They'll be warm.
Yeah, it's in Arizona.
They'll be warm.
Yeah. Speaking of, I saw, it's funny you say that. One of the other shows was like, oh, Green Bay can't play in the heat. I'm like, it's indoors, y'all. Like, State Farm is famously like,
oh yeah.
Man, I couldn't
but
believe it.
Technically, they'll still be warm, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
Warmer than 40.
Can't play perfect conditions. It has to be cold for them to play well.
Yeah. Hey, turn the AC down, bro. It's too cold in here.
All right. Tim, one last thing I want to get to before we move to the values here is you have Fade Brees. Obviously, he's the highest owned projected right now running back.
He is. Yeah, I said that I was a little scared because last time we said, oh, Ashton Genty's way too high owned. We can't play that. And then he broke the slate. I kind of feel that way again about Breece Hall this week. But one of the stats I came across was that 74% of Breece Hall's rush attempts have come on zone concepts. The Panthers allow the lowest success rate on those types of runs. And we saw obviously what they did against Javante last week. I think you said in the pre-show, the Panthers are quietly second best DVOA against the run, clearly making an effort to turn that around this year. I know he's going to get, project for, 20 plus touches, right, and get a ton of use in the pass game. But I don't know if they score a single touchdown here, which means he probably has to get there purely off volume. So I love Brees as a tournament play, but I can't get there in cash if there are three other solid options at the same price.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think I am because I was surprised too. You're right about the DVOA. Their run defense has been better than we kind of think of them. And yeah, so I think fading Brees might be a good choice because he is right now by far the highest owned running back by over 4% over Javonte Williams. So yeah, that could be a good fade there. All right, let's move down into the value running backs here. And unlike a lot of weeks, we don't really have super value guys down here, right? We've got some decent value. Nobody like in the 4K range at all. We'll go to you, Gerson. Give me one of your value guys.
It's ugly this week. I mean, it's very ugly. I mean, usually, quarterbacks and running backs have been very good ways to get value, even wide receivers. But I don't mind that call. Saquon could have a very good game this week. I mean, we could say that over and over, right?
Yeah, let's keep saying
it. Eventually it'll hit.
Yeah.
Vidal. I want to talk about Vidal though. Kamani Vidal. Yeah. He had 138 yards and a touchdown last week. In this game, I think he's gonna get touches, but I'm not expecting the game that he had last week at all.
Sure.
I think the Colts defense is solid. A lot better than the Miami. Was it the Miami Dolphins they played? Who were they played? I know it was a team that's very bad against the run, but
I think it was the Dolphins. Yeah,
it was the Dolphins. Yep, you're right.
Was it Dolphins? Yeah, it was the Dolphins. And Hassan Haskins was supposed to get the workload, according to beat writers. Thanks a lot, beat writers. You guys suck. Don't quit your day job. But no, I think at the price range, though, you can have sprinkles of him at 5.5K, is he?
5.5, I think.
Yeah, 5.5. Especially in that game, I think it's a good way to. What's the ownership right now? I didn't even look at that. But if it's low, then yeah, I'd probably up my exposure because that's a way that you can get different at the running back position and get it cheaper too.
Ninth right now. He's ninth on the list of running backs.
I mean, it's all pointing there. High game environment, a high scoring game environment, gonna be close. The price, but again, this week is really hard for value. I think this is probably one of the hardest weeks for me to build a roster that I can say, "Oh, I love it,"
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Yeah.
Tim, you got one more guy there at values here. Talk about your last guy.
Yeah, I just mentioned that I want to play a bunch of Broncos this week. So I want to play J.K. Dobbins coming off a bad game against the Jets and now gets a much better matchup against the Giants that are averaging, I think last time I looked, over 5 yards per carry. So I think the Broncos are going to clear this one out. He's had over 100 yards once this year. He is splitting time a little bit, but at 5,600, that's what you're paying for, right? You're looking for that 60-65% roll. If he gets 15 to 20 carries at 5,600, he could be the guy you need. So I won't be overexposed to him. Like I said, I'm going to be living in that 6K range this week. But I'll definitely have some J.K. Dobbins because he could easily give you 25, and that would be enough to get you there.
Good stuff.
Like Gerson said, there's going to be a lot of decisions this week where you're like, I like this guy better, and he's 800 less or 700 less, and that's going to make the difference in your lineup.
Yep, agreed. We'll just mention the last guy there, DeAndre Swift at 5.7 after his breakout game last week.
Sure.
He's back on the map there. Let's go ahead and get to wide receivers.
And now, wide receivers.
Since I didn't have any value running backs, I'm going to go ahead and give you all my lock of the week.
Lock it in.
All right, I am going with Rome Odunze versus New Orleans. As I mentioned a little bit earlier in the show, they are a bit of a pass funnel. They're 9th DVOA versus the run, 28th versus the pass. He's only 6.6. Had a bit of a down week last week. but I do expect him to have a nice little bounce back here. And I believe the Saints are 28th versus the wide receiver 1 of that team. So they're also bad against the top receiver, which obviously he is now. He's taken that role over. And I expect Rome Odunze to have a monster week. And I think a good stack this week, if you want to put him with Caleb Williams, it kind of saves a lot of money there for you. You go Caleb in Rome, then you can fit in some of those running backs that we just talked about into your lineup as well. So it's all about Rome Odunze this week for me. Tim, will go to you next, and then we'll do Gerson's lock of the week.
Oh, I mean, CeeDee Lamb, right? Like, I think you got to play him. He said in an interview this week that he could have played last week. He just wanted to wait one more week to make sure he was 100% for this game. He is an $8,800 receiver. That's $7,500, right? Like, I think he's just too cheap. You're getting a massive discount. And Washington has also been a bit of a slot funnel. They're pretty decent outside, but I think they're 8th worst against the slot. So as if you needed one more reason to play CeeDee Lamb, I don't think he'll be on a snap count. He's, as far as I'm concerned, full go this week and therefore underpriced.
Agreed. All right, Gerson, let's do your lock.
Lock it in.
Okay, first off, I want to say something. If I ever met someone who had the biggest ego to put his own hype video like Rashid Rice did on the internet, I'm like, bro, you acting like you got hurt. You're acting like you're coming back from a torn ACL or you broke your neck or something. I don't know, man. You're coming back from being a criminal, you fool. Shut the hell up.
You saw the free 4 shirts. Like, they really believe he was done wrong by this suspension, which is just wild.
I'm like, bro, like, they have you on video, bro. You're running away from the scene, dude. You're a clown, dude. But, yes, we're talking about that clown, Rashid Rice. Rashid Rice, I mean, he's coming back. I'm telling you, the whole industry, he is going to be the highest owned player. I think that ownership will be the highest in this league.
I agree that.
Come Sunday, because people will realize there is no value. And 5,600 is where you want to go. And I'm going to die on this hill. I'm not going to die on it. I'm going to lock on this hill, basically, you know? But, yeah. 5,600 against the Raiders. Guys, the Raiders' pass defense is horrendous. I mean, he averaged 8 receptions, 96 yards on 9.7 targets per game last year. I mean, with 2 touchdowns, and that's 21.6 fantasy points per game in the 3 healthy games he plays. The Raiders, they have we say this every week, they have the second highest rate at cover 3, 44%, and he averaged 4.12 yards per route run on that. So, I don't know, like, 5.6K for a guy to get 21 points. I mean, that's almost 5 times value, 6 times value.
Yeah, crazy.
And when you have when you have Mahomes MVP throwing the ball at you, I mean, It's pretty easy to convince me to play him. But everything's pointing, and I get some people are going to say, "Oh, but there's so many mouths to feed." It's the Raiders' defense. Anybody can eat on them, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, when I opened up the slate, it was Quinshaw Judkins, Rashid Rice. Like, to me, it's them and then a teardrop.
And let me tell you something, Jared. You didn't even have like half of the players that were like locked. you put like Jaden Daniel and someone else, and I'm like, you're missing like 4 players, dude.
4 players, yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. I'll go next here and talking about a pass funnel like I did with Rome Odunze. The Browns are also a pass funnel. They're number 1 versus the run and DVOA, and 24th versus the pass. So I'm going to be going Jalen Waddle here. The only thing that you have to be worried about is can Tua get enough time to get Waddle the ball, because that defense is pretty nasty. Waddle at 6.3, I think is a good play again this week. He's still not to the price where he should be, being basically the only option in the passing game besides Waller on that team right now. So 6.3.
Tua's going to get a concussion by the win.
Yeah.
The win's going to give him a concussion. Boom.
Yeah. Obviously, make sure you pay attention to weather in that game too, because that could definitely change if the weather is not good.
Yep.
Let's see. Let's go do one more each here, Tim. Give me another one of your guys.
Yeah, so I talked about it at the top of the show. So Geoff, I was going to tell you this. So Geoff is famous every week for giving us the FTN wide receiver matchup of the week. This week I actually looked it up so I could have it ready for the show. Number one matchup, JSN, not on the slate. Number two matchup, Drake London, not on the slate. Number three matchup, Cortland Sutton. So I think this is the Cortland Sutton game. He is being way under projected by the industry. I think Giants have been really bad against the pass. He's averaging 18 points per game at home. And we mentioned this is the Demaryius Thomas tribute game. He obviously was his mentor when he first got there. Put narratives in it as much as you want. It's a good matchup all day long, and I think he's underpriced. So I'm going to be all over Cortland Sutton. He may end up being probably my third or fourth highest wide receiver just because he will be so low owned this week. I'll have to look at it here. I know I had it earlier, but yeah, he was like at the bottom of the page.
Down. Yeah, I can't even count that high. I try to count. He's way down there.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like if he's 15th or 20th, it doesn't matter. He's going to be under 5% owned. And if you tell me a guy has 26, 28% points per game upside at 4% owned, like I think you got to play that.
Yeah, it's
the GPP play right there.
It's the donut narrative. Have y'all heard him talking about the donuts?
Yes.
Various Thomas started a tradition of bringing donuts on Saturday, and when he kind of carried that on. Sutton did. So it's the donut narrative. Sutton's gonna go out there and try to have a big game. Because he was a big what's the word I'm looking for? He was a mentor for Sutton.
Yes.
So
yeah, and he had one catch last week because he was had the Sauce Gardner shadow. Right. And so they're going to force feed him the ball this week. So I have him projected for, I think, 8 targets, which I don't think there's anyone else. Well, Chris Olave. But, everybody's going to be on Chris Olave. Nobody's going to be on Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, I found his ownership here. 3.9% right now is what he's owned at.
Insane that he's under 5.
Yep, exactly. Let's see. Gerson, give us one more of your guys.
So I'm going to talk about Justin Jefferson.
Yes.
7.6K. That's crazy. This guy was usually 8.59K every year last year. But I think he's a great pivot.
Oh, I really thought he was about to say this is going to be the Carson Wentz revenge game. I thought you were going to say it.
Shut the hell up. Anyways, hope you choke on that beer.
No.
It's great. So Quinyon Mitchell is so stupid. That's how you blinded my brain. Quinyon Mitchell is likely going to be out, so keep a status on that.
No, he's going to play. He's going to play.
Oh, is he? Well, either way,
he got a full practice in today. Yeah.
Well, he's still going to get roasted. It don't matter.
Yeah.
Because Sutton had a good game against him 2 weeks ago. I can assume Justin Jefferson can take care of the business, And Carson Wentz, he does great with Carson Wentz. It's kind of sad that what's his name? McCarthy.
Kevin O'Connell. You mean the coach?
Or you mean JJ McCarthy?
Oh, JJ
McCarthy got beat
Couldn't
out.
figure out how to get the ball to
Jefferson. He had one great fourth quarter, and all of a sudden he was a future Hall.
I hope he watched that Thursday night game last night because Flacco's been there, a week, 10 days, and figured out, holy shit, I have Jamar Chase. I just need to get the ball to Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Doesn't have to be hard, man.
Yeah, and he is doing a Carson Wentz. Are you talking about McCarthy?
That's what I'm saying, yeah. McCarthy couldn't figure that out.
Yeah, Carson Wentz is doing it. He posted back-to-back 11 reception and 7+ reception, 123 yards. With Carson Wentz, he's getting 7 reception, 108 yards, and 9.7 targets per game in a 3-game. That's pretty much what I want in a stud wide receiver. If I'm paying up for him.
Correct.
And so I'm carefully gonna say this though. So, all right, we have mentioned the highest owned players, right? If you look at what we've been saying, you need to find a drop from the show friend Geoff, where he goes pivot, pivot, pivot. And so look at these pivots that you can do this week. You can go from okay, let's see. Jonathan Taylor to Josh Jacob.
Yep.
You can go from Rashee Rice to Cortland Sutton. You can go from Justin Jefferson to CD Lamb to be different. And then at tight end, you can go from what's his name, Michael Mayer to Rondé Granson. But obviously, that's the one that I'm probably feeling the less confidence in. But you can really go a lot of different ways this week. But yeah, that's Justin Jefferson, and then I mean, I think everybody's gonna want to play Chris Olave because of the pace in the game. He's gonna be the second. What is he? The second highest owned wide receiver right now.
I think he's
pretty sure
first or second. Yeah, it's gonna be him or Rice. It's a toss up.
Yeah, so him and Rice. I mean, they're gonna be straight into your roster. I mean, I'm telling you, like, cash game almost lost an edge. Like, I swear, it's getting harder and harder to be, like, the optimal rosters that we used to see 5-6 years ago are now, like, everybody has them, you know?
Everybody. No, every week is a 2v2 in cash now. Yep. Like, it is the sharpest field ever. It's almost not worth it to play cash anymore. If you're not playing, like, 3-mans, 5-mans, and trying to grab an edge that way, it's just really hard. Like I said, last week it was, did you play Michael Mayer or did you play Hunter Long? And that was basically the difference.
That was it.
I agree with everything y'all said. The only thing I would mention is that I also really like Xavier Worthy this week. I think everybody will be playing Rashee Rice for good reason. But I mean, we saw they have the highest total on the slate at 29. They could easily drop 35 on the Raiders, and the Raiders are really bad against long passes. So I think Xavier Worthy goes back to what we saw at the end of last year. He becomes the deep threat. Rashee Rice goes back to being the underneath guy. And, if he gets, 5 for 140 and a touchdown, like, you're going to have him.
Yeah.
So I love Xavier Worthy, and I think he'll be way less owned than he should be. Patty stacks are definitely on lock this week.
Agreed. I just mentioned a couple of the top guys that we had. A.J. Brown and Deebo Samuel also on the list there. We've already talked about Olave, being one of the ones, so we'll, mention him as one of the values. And then, Tim, if you want to talk about your boy Golden there, because I'm kind of with you on this call.
I do. So last week, my sit call, Josh Downs, came through, and I said it's because Arizona is the second biggest slot funnel in the league. Well, the Ravens are off the slate, so the biggest slot funnel in the league is once again the Arizona Cardinals. Golden has quietly been running about 60% of his snaps from the slot. I may finally get a game where I'm right and Golden outscores Romeo Dobbs. So, of course, Brian's going to tell me I'm wrong and I'm going to lose again. But at 4,700 here, we were talking about there's not a lot of good value plays on this slate. There's one guy we're going to talk about here in a minute, but at 4,700, I think he nicely fits into some builds if you want to pay up to, try and play CD and Justin Jefferson, or try and play CD and a Josh Jacobs. Where are you going to save that salary? I think Golden could, I think he's had more than 10 DraftKings points in consecutive games, more than 6 targets in consecutive games. He's playing a lot more snaps now. And I think Dontavian Wicks is questionable. If Wicks is out, then he's basically going to play every slot snap. So, yeah, I think 47 for Golden is a great price this week. This could finally be the game that he kind of breaks out.
Yeah, I love it. Let's see. We got a question in the chat, Tim. I'm just going to just put the question up there, and you can talk about the other guy you got, your quote-unquote free square. But what's your guys' thoughts on Ertz? We talked about Ertz already being a good play, more as a value play.
I do. I think Chris Moore is as close to a free square as we're going to get this week. With Terry McLaurin rolled out, he is playing 80% of snaps. I think last week it was 68, but he's been over 70% of snaps. He had 5 targets. They obviously used him in the red zone. He is the Terry McLaurin replacement. And because of the pricing, he's min price. This is one of those weeks where you're going to want to stack every other spot. And if you can get every spot, I told you in the pre-show, I was able to fit Trey McBride, CeeDee Lamb, all of these guys by putting in Chris Moore. So if you understand that he's probably going to more likely get you 6 to 10 than he is 15 to 20, then that's fine. But I'm a firm believer that if you can stack every other spot and they all hit, then it doesn't really matter. So, yeah, Gerson said value is tight this slate. you're either going to be playing a 3K wide receiver or a 3K tight end. And I actually kind of like the projections better with Chris Moore as opposed to a 3K tight end. So, yeah, free square is always tough because that means I would play him in 100% of lineups. I don't know that I would do that. But at 3K, Stone Min, 5 to 7 targets, it's really hard not to play Chris Moore.
Yeah, agreed. I'm going to just mention the last couple guys that are in the value tier here. Me and Gerson both had Io Manor because Calvin is ruled out. So Io Manor should have all the volume there. And I'm going to get Diggs in there. You know, I did like May. I think Diggs had a bad week last week. I think he has a bounce back week this week at 6. So I'll take Diggs as well. Let's go ahead and get to the defense.
Defense.
All right, Tim, take us away.
Shocking. I'm going to recommend another, the Denver Broncos. I think this week it's a lot of matching up your running back with defense. We do this a lot, but I think this week it really looks good. You have J.K. Dobbins with the Broncos defense. You have Quinshon Judkins with the Browns defense. And we didn't talk about him earlier, but I don't hate using Jordan Mason with the Vikings defense if you're paying all the way down.
I love it. Yeah, Brian's talking in the chat here. He says he's going to wait, but he says we're talking about the wrong Washington receiver, and it's not Luke. So I think he might have a sick call for us at the end of the show here. So I'm curious as what.
Yeah, probably Jalen Lane, I think, is who he's going to tell me, but we'll see. I thought he was going to go with McNichols.
Yeah,
because I think McNichols could be the sneaky guy this week, but we'll see.
Gerson, you got any defenses that Tim didn't already mention? Gerson?
Well, he was breaking out for a second, so I couldn't really tell which defense he
went,
said.
Denver.
I didn't do the two what you have on the bottom. I'll put it that way.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Miami Dolphins defense. Just the weather and 2.7K. But really, in reality, the Carolina Panthers defense is also a good play. I mean, it's just like they're going to stop the run. And I think you're going to have to get cheap at defense. You're not going to be able to pay up this week because it's pretty much impossible to construct a great roster and pay up on defense. If there was that defense I'd pay for, it would definitely be what's called Denver's defense. But I don't know. It's hard this week, but I have been doing very well at just paying down and just building my roster around there. The only time I paid up was the Green Bay Packers last week, and they let me down. So thanks a lot, Green Bay. Tim, I'm getting tired of your Green Bay defense. It's supposed to be elite. What happened?
Me too. I benched him this week in season long. I know we don't usually talk about that on this show. I drafted them to be my starting defense, and I am benching them this week.
Oh, boy.
Good stuff. The only defense that I had that we hadn't talked about yet is Chicago. If you look at their box scores, they only have one game where they have not scored at least 9 DraftKings points, and that was the game against Detroit where they gave up like 100 points. So they had negative points in that game, but they had 11 versus Minnesota, they had 11 versus Dallas, they had 10 versus the Raiders, and then they had 9 last week against Washington. So some good teams on that list as well, and they still were able to get 9 points. So I'll take them against a bad team in the New Orleans Saints at 3.1. All right, it's time for our stacks.
Going4two.com's weekly stack report.
All right, Tim, you pretty much gave us your stack already, but go ahead.
Shocking. It's not the Broncos, right? Mainly because I couldn't think of a good run back option on the Giants I would actually play. So I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels, probably Deebo Samuel, Chris Moore, or Zach Ertz. I think you could go either way, and then run it back with either Javonte or CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
I think in these kind of situations, we didn't talk about this at the top, but in these really popular, high-scoring games, the way to get different is just to onslaught the whole game, right? If you think this is going to be a 60-point game, play 5-6 players from this game and just hope that they all go off, because that is the best way to get different.
Yeah, agreed. Gerson, what you got for your stack? Is Gerson frozen? Yeah. There he goes.
So my stack, damn it, I thought someone had that stack. But I'm gonna be playing a lot of
Yeah.
Dak Prescott, so figure that out. I will. That I really want to have a lot of exposure to. Both of the wide receivers, they're pretty cheap, and the run backs aren't that expensive. I will have Patrick Mahomes, Rashee Rice, Worthy, and Michael Mays. And
I like it.
I'll figure out the rest.
I like it. I'm going with Caleb as my quarterback. My lock of the week, Roma Dunze, bringing it back with the highest owned receiver in Olave, and just going to keep it simple at that. I'm not going to onslaught this a simple, straightforward stack with a comeback on Olave. I do think this game can put us in good points there, so I like that stack a lot. All right, let's get to the sick call.
And now, the sick call of the week.
So I wanted to just say this real quick because I had Sterling Shepard as my sick call last week. And had we had the show on Saturday, I would have pivoted to Tez Johnson because that's who I ended up playing over Sterling Shepard. Unfortunately, I do not get credit because I did call Sterling Shepard out on the show. But had we had one more day, I'd have gone Tez Johnson there. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that. Tim did hit on his. He mentioned it earlier. Josh Downs had a pretty good game there. Unfortunately, he's out this week, I believe, right? He got hurt.
He is, yeah. He got hurt.
In long enough for you to hit your sick call. And our guest had Njoku, who got hurt, and obviously that did not pan out. And Gerson had Hunter Long, who already mentioned was not good last week. So, Gerson, give us.
I had Isaiah Bond, not Hunter Long, but yeah.
Give us your sick call, Gerson.
It's Lil John and the East Side Boys. I'm just kidding. His name is Lil Jordan Humphrey, man. Man, that's so crazy. What kind of parents would name their kid Lil Jordan? I can't wait. We got Kool-Aid McKinstry.
And the funny thing is, there's nothing little about him.
No, he's tall. Yeah, I always thought the same thing. Yeah, he's 6'4".
And then, I mean, where's General Booty, too? There's General Booty out there.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. These names, man. Yeah, Lil Jordan Humphrey. He played, I believe, for Tennessee. Or was it? No, he played for Texas, huh?
Yeah.
He played for Texas. I mean, the guy, he's not small. He's 6'4", 225.
Oh, I thought you were about to say the revenge narrative. Man, I missed twice today.
And Jackson Dart looked to him on
Thursday night.
Yeah, they're so obsessed with that. Yeah, so
we just love it.
I think
he gets you every time.
It's so stupid.
Come on, he used to be a Bronco.
Yeah, okay.
Gotta say it.
I didn't even know that. See, that's how dumb it is. Anyway, Patrick Surtain is not going to be on Lil Jordan Humphrey. Jackson Dart will be throwing that ball as quick as possible. And Lil Jordan Humphrey last week, he was open every single time. I don't know how. It was against the Eagles defense, and he just got open over the middle. He had a touchdown. He had an end zone target. He should have had a touchdown if he would have kept his toes in there.
Yeah.
I can't remember how. But anyway, he's 3,100. I mean, he is so cheap, 3,100. I was kind of shocked to see that his ownership was almost like.
He was actually drafted by Sean Payton, by the way.
Yeah.
When he was on Saints.
Just
giving you some more.
Some more revenge narrative there.
Well, I'll tell you what. If he hits value next week, I'll be like, I told you guys, revenge game.
Yeah.
I'll even do the meme, revenge. Yeah.
Oh, man. So I had Chris Moore as my sit call. Obviously, with the value with Terry McLaurin being out, he is no longer a sit call. So I pivoted to a guy that I picked up heavily in best ball, and I have been counting down the days until he was able to come back. Cokeheads unite for Jalen Coker, 3,500. I expect him to immediately step in. Cokeheads unite. It's a Twitter thing. You'll see it. So he's going to take over from Hunter Renfrow right away, be the starting slot receiver. He will not see Sauce Gardner, which I think is a huge help to them. Obviously, he's kind of that big slot that Kyler likes. We've already seen Renfrow actually look kind of good. So, give me, I think Kyler's going to have to throw here. I don't know that Rico Dowdle gets it done this week. We didn't talk about him, but I guess it's possible. But if he doesn't get it done, I'm going to say 7 targets for Jalen Coker, 5 for 50, and he gets me there.
Good stuff. All right, my sit call, and I have not hit on a single sit call all week or all year, so take this as you wish. I'm going with Luther Burden at 4.3. DJ Moore was questionable. He did get a full practice in today, so he will play,
Yep.
obviously. But he's been slowly kind of phased out of this offense, and Burden has been slowly kind of getting phased in. Actually had the most targets he's had all season last week. So I do think that they're trying to work Burden in. Obviously, he's the rookie. DJ Moore, I don't think will be a Bear next year, so they're trying to see what they have with Luther Burden. And at 4.3 in low ownership, I think he's definitely worth putting into a lineup to see what he can do. So that is my sit call. Hopefully, I can finally hit one before the end of the year. But looks like Brian might actually have the same sit call as me.
Oh, nice.
I love it.
Maybe it's going to hit this week.
Let's hope so, because Brian actually put it in the chat before I said it, so technically it's his. So it might have a bit of more good luck attached to that one. All right, fellas, that wraps up the podcast. We'll go around the room really quick. Give us your Twitter handle and plug anything that you want to plug. We'll go to you first, Tim.
Yeah, find me on Twitter at Keto DFS. I didn't do a thread this week. But I usually have a thread up every week in the DraftKings group on Facebook where I find the best stats from all around the internet and put it in one place for you. So find me there.
Gerson?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at FantasyGDFS. And here every Friday, well, when I don't have something come up. But yeah, and I have something come up, guys. Well, technically, I thought the show was at 8:30. Then it got moved. And that was right in between. I wasn't going to be in the car driving and be like, yeah, my sick call is I'm going to jail, guys. Bye.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of, I will say next Friday, may end up being my last show of the season. So I know it's a week early for Halloween show. I might end up putting on a costume and do the whole thing next week. Because my baby daughter will be coming next Saturday. Pre-record the Halloween show, yeah. So anyway, look, everybody join in next week, and we'll talk then.
Good stuff. As always, guys, follow me on Twitter at Geoff Lambert77, and make sure you check out my ownership that I put out in the DraftKings group and the DFS Roundtable on Facebook. As Tim calls it, it's the best free ownership out there. It helps me a lot. I use it every single week to make my lineups, and I update it as much as I can before Sunday. And this weekend, I'm off the whole weekend, so I'll be able to update it right up until the games start on Sunday. So be on the lookout for that. That's it. Tim, Gerson, thank you as always, and hopefully we get to see you at least one more week, Tim. And good luck this week, guys. Everybody in the chat, thanks for joining, and good luck for week 7.
Go Pack, go!